Hey you guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be making 3 lunch recipes that are great if you have to pack a lunch for work or school. They either reheat really well or they don't need reheating at all. So we're going to start out with this bean chili. I love making chili because it freezes well. You can bring it with you and have it just by itself. You can have it over potatoes or rice or something like that. And it's just a really delicious, hearty, and filling meal. So I have a bunch of beans that I soaked here. So this is pinto beans, black beans, navy beans, and kidney beans. And I've been trying to get away from using canned beans because it is so much cheaper to buy dry beans. And they cook really quick and easy if you soak them overnight. So I've had these soaking just in water. And it's funny because like when I first put them in this jar, they only came up to about here. So when they're rehydrated, they double in size. So I'm just gonna rinse these really well. Because I started doing this with my lentils and I noticed they just cooked so much faster. They were way more creamy and yeah, they're just easier to digest because they release a certain kind of like it's like I can't remember what it's called. But it's very important if you're cooking them from dry. And if you cook them from dry, they take forever. I can cook beans from dry in my Instant Pot for an hour and they still won't be cooked all the way. So definitely soak them. I mean, I wouldn't even say that you need to soak them overnight. If you are gonna make chili or something for dinner and you throw them in a big jar, I usually just soak them in my Instant Pot actually. I just put them in here, cover them with water. If you soak them like before you go to work, you can definitely just cook this really quickly after work. So for the rest of our ingredients, this is really easy to make. I'm gonna add in this big can of crushed chilies or crushed tomatoes. And I think it's fire roasted. And I really like the flavor of the fire roasted ones. All right, forget that didn't happen. We're just gonna dump this into this one. These Instant Pots can be kind of finicky too. Like if they're filled up past a certain line, they won't come up to pressure and all that jazz. So we'll just play it safe here. All right, so we got our diced tomatoes in there. I'm gonna add 1 chopped sweet potato. This gives it a nice flavor and it makes it really creamy as well. And then I'm gonna add in some onion. I just dump everything in here. People sometimes are like, you should saute it and have more flavor, but I honestly don't notice a difference and I'm a really lazy cook. So we're gonna do it this way. And then I have 1 large carrot just diced up. I've got 2 stalks of celery that I finely chopped. And then I'm gonna add in some bell peppers as well because I usually don't add this, but I have so many left over that I just need to use up. So I'm gonna add these in here. But you could also add like diced chilies, poblano peppers, or if you like it spicy, you could add in some hot peppers. So I'll add these in here. And I don't think that this recipe I've ever put anywhere. I might have put it on my YouTube channel before, but I don't think so. I don't think it's in any of our books because we have a few different kinds of chilies, but we'll put the recipe down below for you guys. So I'm gonna add in, this is probably like 2 teaspoons of better than bouillon, but you don't have to add this. You can just add in vegetable broth if you want. And then I have chili powder, cumin, and paprika. I use about a tablespoon of chili powder and then a teaspoon of cumin and paprika. Another thing I like to add into this is I'll add just like a couple drops, literally like a couple drops of this liquid smoke, and it gives it a nice smoky flavor. And then we're just gonna add in 4 cups of water. And all we're gonna do is put this in the Instant Pot on high pressure for 30 minutes and let it cook. And I usually let it naturally release. It depends how much time we'll have in the video though. I might just instant release it. But if you do this on the stovetop, you can either just bring it to a boil, reduce the heat to a simmer and let it cook for, you might have to cook it a bit longer because this is a pressure cooker. So you might want to try like 45 minutes. And you might also need to add extra water because maybe like 6 cups of water, just because more water is gonna burn off if you cook it on the stovetop. But another thing you can do is you can just throw all this in a slow cooker and cook it all day and have it at night. But let's throw this in the Instant Pot and we'll just let that cook, and then we'll jump on to the next recipe. So for the next recipe, we're gonna make spring rolls or summer rolls. People call them all different kinds of things. And we're just gonna use a bunch of veggies and some rice noodles. So these are the kind of rice noodles that I buy. People always ask me. They come in these little nests, and they're just rice vermicelli noodles. And they cook really fast. So I'm gonna take 2 of these. And then all we're gonna do is just pour boiling water over them. And they only take about 5 or 6 minutes to cook. I'm spilling water absolutely everywhere. So I have some bell pepper, greens, sprouts, herbs. I like to use like cilantro, Thai basil, and mint in these, but you can use whatever you like. And then I'm just gonna thinly slice up some cucumber and carrot. Okay, so we're just gonna julienne quite a bit of this. I'm just gonna use like this much of the cucumber. I like these English cucumbers because they have, I think they have a really more mild flavor, and they don't have as many seeds in the inside because I don't use the seeds when I julienne them like this. But whenever I make sushi or anything, people always ask me like, how do you get the cucumber so thin? And I just use this little julienne peeler. I can have Derek link it below for you guys, but if you ever wonder like the stuff that I use in the kitchen, we have a product recommendation page on our website that I can link below. That just shows like all the cookware that I use, all the little tools, everything that I have. So we can link that in the videos for you guys as well. This week we also have a sale on our Real Food, Real Simple book. It's the first book I ever made, and it's like just a compilation of all the whole foods plant-based recipes I first used when I was losing weight. I think there's over like 100 recipes in there. Do you know?
It's like 80.
80 or something, but there's like burgers, sushi, all kinds of soups and noodles and salads and just everything. It's on sale this week for $5. It's usually, I think, $17. So you guys can check that out. But I just keep this part of the cucumber and then I give it to my dogs because they love cucumber. So I just chop it up and put it in a bowl for them, and then they're excited. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the carrots. Just julienne them really finely, but you could shred them as well. And I usually add avocado to this or tofu. I just don't have any ripe avocados right now, and I wanted to make a spring roll recipe that just didn't have like any overt fats in it for you guys if you're like trying to lose the last 10 pounds or something. So this is a really low fat veggie filled recipe that is simple to make, and I eat this so often, like 2 to 3 times a week, because it's so easy to make. And when I do make it, I'll julienne like a bunch of extra stuff, and I'll just keep it. I put a little towel in the bottom of a Tupperware, and then I'll just keep it in the fridge. And whenever I want to make these, I basically have everything ready already. So it's just super simple. And then another thing that I do that I talk about in my meal plan community is I make a bunch of noodles at the beginning of the week. And then all you do is you rinse them and you just store them in cold water. I actually learned this when I worked at California Pizza Kitchen. And then whenever you want noodles, all you have to do is drain them and they're good to go. Because I feel like all the pasta kitchens, what they do is they just cook the noodles at the beginning of the day and then they store them all in cold water. And it's just the easiest way. You can cook any kind of noodle like that. I probably wouldn't do like the chickpea. I've actually never tried it with chickpea or like the red lentil noodles, but it might not work as well. So we got all our veggies here. We're just gonna make a quick sauce. So for this sauce, I usually make a lot of extra of this as well, because like I said, I eat these like all the time, multiple times per week. So I'll put the exact sauce ingredients in the description box for you guys, but usually when I make it, I'll use a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and then I use about 2 tablespoons or so of light tamari, or you can use coconut aminos. I like to add a little bit, like a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, ground ginger, and garlic powder, just to give it a little bit of extra flavor, just like a tiny bit. And then I add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of PB2. This is just what I add in at the end because you can add in as much as you want to get like the consistency that you want. And then I also add in a little bit of sriracha to just make it spicy. So you can just whisk it up, and then if you want it thicker or you want it thinner, to thin it out, I usually will add a little bit of plant milk in here. But if you want it thicker, you can add in more powdered peanut butter. But this is just kind of the base that I use for all my summer rolls. Or I make another kind that's more just like soy sauce, maple syrup. That recipe's on my website, but it's not a peanut sauce, it's more like a garlic ginger style sauce. And then you can always just taste it and see if you like it. It tastes really good to me. I like to add in a little bit of sesame seeds too. I only have like so many. I bought like a big jar at the Asian market, and I was like, you know, I thought I would grow through them faster, but
it'll take us about 5 years to get through them.
Maybe 5 years we'll go through this. I'm gonna have to start making my own tahini. It's like, and this is like the second one. This isn't even the first one. This is the second one. All right, so we got all this stuff ready. Just set that to the side. I'm just gonna drain these noodles quick. And I just like to rinse them with a little bit of cold water to stop the cooking process and cool them down. And then I'll just put a clean towel in the bottom of a bowl and add them in here. You can also use kelp noodles, but these rolls, since we're not adding tofu and avocado, they don't have like any calories if we didn't have rice noodles. And then all we have left to do is make our wraps. So I made a live stream in our monthly meal plan community about this because so many people have problems with these wraps, and I did this really in-depth live stream on it. But I think the main problem that we found is people are dipping these in like a big thing of water, and that's fine, but it also makes them really, really wet, and they just don't become super pliable. So I always recommend just running this under the sink for a second, like just getting it wet on both sides very, very quickly. That's how I've always done it. So you just want to get like a quick on both sides, and you just want to get it wet like that. The other thing is you don't want to put anything that's hot into these because it will just make them fall apart. And you want to also make sure that you don't overfill them. So I'll kind of show you how much filling I put in. But I do stew a little bit of each thing. I usually overfill mine because I'm really good at wrapping these at this point. Like, I won't brag about it, but I am. And I can keep them from like not overflowing. So we just add in all of our herbs. I got some sprouts. I actually sprouted these myself, which I'm pretty proud of. And then we'll add in our noodles. And you want to wrap them when they're about like, just when they start to get kind of flimsy. Another good thing in these is like mango is really good. Tofu, mango, and avocado. Pineapple would be really good in these. But you just want to roll them over and then wrap them up like a little burrito like that. And usually before I eat them, I'll cut them in half, but I'm going to show you guys an easy way to preserve them to bring them to work. Because if you were to just put these in like a container, the outer paper will get really hard because they're just rice, so it will just harden from the air. There's a way to get around that I'll show you guys so that they stay like really soft and pliable. So I'll just make a couple more, but you can make as many of these as you want. And I just get these wraps from Safeway. They're just in the international grocery section. They're just called spring roll skin. They have tapioca, rice flour, and like a little bit of salt in them, I think, and that's it. So when I want to eat these, I just cut them in half and I serve them like this because I think it looks nicer, and you can just kind of cut them all up and put the sauce in the middle, and then you have this nice dipping sauce. Then you can just put a little bit of the sauce in the middle, and you've got these delicious summer rolls. So if you want to bring these to work with you, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a small section of paper towel like this and just get it wet. You just wanna get it like slightly damp. And then all you're gonna do is roll each one in the paper towel. So I'll just do this for all of them, and then I put them in like a little food prep container, just like this. And then you can put a little thing of the sauce on the side and bring them to work with you. And then you have this delicious, fresh lunch that you don't need to heat up. All you need to do is just unwrap them. All right, our chili's almost done. We're gonna make one of my favorite salads. It's a sweet potato black bean salad. We just call it the sweet potato salad. So we're gonna take a bunch of greens, and Derek got me this fancy little salad cutter thing, which actually comes in really handy, because if you're not someone that really likes to eat salad very much, it can help to really cut up the greens really small, because then it's easier to eat. So it just comes with this little like pizza cutter, and then you just chop it up. Maybe you can link this wherever you got it from.
I will link it.
So if you're going to work, you'll want to make this dressing recipe separately and just keep it on the side so that you don't mix it in. But whenever I make salad, I like to chop up the greens like this and then mix in the dressing, because then all the greens get coated with it. So for this dressing, it's really easy. We're just going to take 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I like a lot of mustard in this, so I usually do around a tablespoon, but start with a teaspoon and see if you like how mustardy you like it. But this is just like a maple mustard dressing is what I call it. It's like a vegan honey mustard. But you could use like agave or date syrup in this as well. Or you could add a little bit of garlic powder or some red chili flakes into it. Sometimes I get kind of crazy and add different stuff into it, but I just use like a good Dijon mustard. This is just the Trader Joe's one, and it's really good. So I'll just pour this over the greens and then toss it. And then when you're eating it, every bite is like coated with dressing, and it just tastes a lot better, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna put it into a bowl. It's how you make a salad look really pretty, because even when you're eating it, it still looks really nice because all the toppings are just on top because it's already tossed in dressing. Derek's like laughing at me. So we're gonna add, this is some sweet potato that I just chopped up and I air fried it on 400 for 20 minutes. So on Sundays, I always make a ton of sweet potato, and I make a bunch of pre-steamed potatoes because it just makes my week so much easier. And then I have about a half a cup to a cup, I would say this is a cup, of black beans. So add those on there. I'm gonna add a little bit of chopped cucumber. You could add like whatever kind of herbs you want to this as well. Sometimes I'll add cilantro or like mint or parsley. So I like to add a little bit of onion to this, which usually I use red onion, but I don't have any. Another thing that would like take this to the next level is if you made some roasted veggies, like roasted Brussels sprouts on this would be really good, or even some zucchini. And then we're just gonna add some chopped tomato to this as well. But if you wanted, you could also add tofu to this, or you could add some avocado. These recipes, I just wanted to keep lower in fat to give you guys some ideas of some simple stuff that you can throw together. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you're bringing this to work, I would just put it into a big container and then put the salad dressing on the side and mix it all up when you get there. This is a really delicious low-fat salad that you can have when you just need something filling and yummy. All right, so our chili is done. I just instant released it and it looks really good. So what I like to do is I just lightly blend it with an immersion blender because it'll make it super thick and creamy, and it will get a lot thicker as it cools as well. So this makes quite a lot of chili and it's really thick and creamy and delicious. It freezes really good, so I'm probably gonna freeze quite a bit of this. I'll just put it into either quart-sized mason jars or just little meal prep containers and I'll freeze it. But this is my favorite chili. I'll have Derek put this recipe on the website because it is so good. It deserves a spot there. I have a different one that's like a quinoa chili, but you can easily bring this to work with you, reheat it. You can have it with potatoes, you can have it over rice, you can have it by itself. I like to do chili cheese fries with it a lot, or I'll just do even like nachos and put it on there because it's just easy if you have it frozen in the freezer. So that is it for our 3 easy lunch recipes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, all the ingredients and recipes and everything will be down in the description box. I will also put the product recommendation page down there for all the little gadgets and everything that I have that I cook with. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.